Welcome along. We are celebrating today because, can you believe it? It's been 1 year of Beyond the Clinic. I can hardly believe it, but we've officially been podcasting for 1 whole year. Over the past 12 months, we've covered everything from scaling your business and creating passive income to overcoming mindset blocks and navigating the highs and lows of entrepreneurship. In today's episode, a special anniversary one, I'm going to be taking you behind the scenes of this journey, sharing some of the biggest lessons I've learned and revealing the top 5 episodes you absolutely need to listen to again. Plus, I'm going to be highlighting some of the most inspirational guest stories, dietitians, and healthcare professionals who have truly transformed their businesses, mastered new income streams, and built the lives they only dreamed of. And of course, I'm going to be sharing what's next for Beyond the Clinic in year 2, including some exciting new offers, some collaborations, and also ways that you can be part of this journey. So whether you've been here since episode 1 or you're just joining us, grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's celebrate together a year of growth, of breakthroughs, and business success. So whether you're someone who's been listening since the very beginning or you're a more recent member of this community, I just want to take a little moment to say thank you. Thank you for tuning in, for sharing the episodes with your colleagues, for reaching out to me with your thoughts, and for making this such an incredible, worthwhile journey for me. It's been a year filled with conversations that matter, discussions that challenge us, inspire us, and push us beyond the limitations of traditional clinic work. From talking about scaling your business and improving your money mindset to hearing incredible stories from the guests who've transformed their careers, this podcast has honestly been a labor of love. So today we're celebrating. When I think back to recording my very first episode, How to Run a Successful Business Without Social Media, I remember feeling both excited, but also really nervous. There was this little voice in my head saying, "Who are you, Sarah, to start a podcast? Will anyone even listen to you?" But I pushed through that doubt because I knew that these conversations were so needed. And over the past year, I've seen so much growth, not just in this podcast, but in myself as a host and in my business too. And of course, inside the incredible community of listeners of Beyond the Clinic. So in the beginning, I focused a lot on tactical advice on how to market yourself, on how to structure your business, how to create passive income streams. But as time went on, I found myself talking more and more and more about mindset, confidence, the internal shifts required to truly succeed. Because having the perfect strategy doesn't really matter if you're constantly second guessing or you're doubting your worth or you're afraid to step outside of your comfort zone, essentially getting in your own way of success. So this podcast has evolved to reflect those deeper conversations. We've talked about the why behind business, as well as the strategies and the tactics. We've talked about the emotional challenges that you might encounter as a business owner or entrepreneur. And we've also talked about the importance of stepping up into a growth mindset. Now, one of the biggest developments this year has been the launch of our YouTube channel, where you can now watch each episode in video format if that's your preference. New episodes drop on YouTube every Friday, meaning if you're a bit of a super fan, you can watch them there early before they go live on podcast players the following Monday. And we're also in the process of turning each episode into a structured SEO optimized blog post, making it easier for you to find and revisit key insights. So this means that whether you prefer to watch or listen or read, you can engage with Beyond the Clinic in the way that actually works best for you and your learning style. So I wanted to look at the standout episodes of the year that we've been going. And to do that, as you know, I'm an evidence-based, data-driven practitioner. And so I downloaded all the stats. There were a few episodes that clearly resonated the most with you guys. It's so interesting because 4 out of the top 5 most listened to episodes are those that I released first, which I think is a great example that I truly understand my ideal listener and what their struggles and their desires are. So a little bit of evidence that I practice what I preach. If you're new to the podcast or you're looking for some inspiration, these are the ones that you'll definitely want to go and find and listen to. And if you've listened to them once already, that was probably a year ago. I'm sure you'll discover something new if you tune in again. Okay, here's those top 5. Number 1 was actually episode number 2, and it was called Making Money from Selling Digital Guides and eBooks. Now, this was the most downloaded episode of the year, and for good reason. In this episode, we explored how dietitians and healthcare professionals can leverage their expertise into digital products, because we all have diet sheets. We all have handouts. We all have resources that we use with our clients every single day. So this episode was all about what's probably the quickest and easiest way to create scalable, innovative income streams that don't rely on one-to-one work. In second place was actually episode number 1, how to run a successful business without social media. This is the one that started it all. And it's so funny because when people become clients, one of the first things that comes out is how much they don't enjoy social media. In fact, one of the reasons my clients say they choose me is because I'm quite open about my love-hate relationship with Instagram too. If you've ever felt exhausted by the demands of constantly showing up on social and feel like you're never really gaining traction, then this episode offers you a bunch of alternative marketing strategies that will still allow you to build a thriving business without relying on social media. In position number 3 was episode number 3, how to turn your professional expertise into an online course. Now, I know that so many of my colleagues quite fancy the idea of creating and selling an online course. And so this episode was designed really to whet your appetite. One of the most powerful ways to scale your impact, therefore reaching much more people, is creating a course. Now, in this episode, we walk through the step-by-step process of creating a course that not only sells, but truly changes lives. I've got a handful of courses in my business that I take you behind the scenes of a bit too. Now, in position number 4 was episode number 4, how to do market research effectively so that people buy your stuff. The key to a successful business isn't just having a great idea, it's knowing how to validate it. This episode breaks down how to conduct market research the right way, so you're not left guessing what your audience wants. If I had to determine which episode is the most important episode of this podcast, this one would be up there. One of the saddest experiences I have ever had is when a client or a colleague launches an offer and gets crickets. No clients, no customers, no sales. And 99% of the time, it's because they have not done the right market research and validated their offer first. So this happened to my client, Tara, who worked with another health and wellness coach before me. And you can listen to her story in episode number 46. And then in position 5, it was episode number 7. So still well within the top 10 there, the first 10 episodes. And this one was just simply called How to Attract More Clients. So if you're struggling to fill your programs or book out your services, this episode is actually a really good one. I talk about the common mistakes that business owners make when trying to attract clients, but I didn't just leave it there. I gave you the proven strategies that do actually work. So I highly recommend giving these 5 episodes a listen or a re-listen. So reflecting upon these standout episodes, it's really clear to me that our community of health professionals is eager to find innovative ways to grow their businesses and achieve a greater freedom. To support you further on this journey, I'm really excited to invite you along to the Freedom Formula. It's a dynamic 3-day live course designed to help you elevate and expand your business through innovative income streams. What you learn by attending? Well, you'll discover creative alternatives to traditional consultations, enabling you to assist more clients whilst working fewer hours. You'll learn how to leverage technology to set up simple automated systems that attract clients and generate sales around the clock, giving you the freedom to focus on what you love. And you'll also understand the key metrics that drives true business growth, empowering you to make evidence-based decisions and optimize your strategies effectively. So this course is going to be perfect for you if you're a healthcare professional aiming to move beyond traditional one-on-one consultations, or if you're intrigued by the idea of courses and programs and memberships but feel a bit overwhelmed by the tech aspects. This is also for you if you're looking to work fewer hours without compromising your income, if you're tired of inconsistent earnings and you have a desire for more stable revenue, and you're eager to expand your reach and make a more significant impact in the world. So if you resonate with any of these questions, this mini course is going to be perfect for you. And as we're celebrating our incredible year together, I'm thrilled to offer you this opportunity to transform your business, reclaim your time completely free of charge. You can sign up at saraharmondbushell.com/freedom-formula, and I'll pop a link in the show notes for you as well. Okay, moving on. I've also had the pleasure of interviewing some absolute superstar dietitians. I'm very lucky in that I have lots of friends and colleagues in the dietetic space who are already crushing it when it comes to embracing alternative income streams. Here's some of the most inspirational guests that we've had. Episode 13, Becoming a Published Author, an interview with Kirsten Jackson. Kirsten was actually one of my very first clients. I don't know if she knows that, but she never planned on becoming a business owner. In the beginning, her career, like many dietitians, was working in a clinical setting, offering expert guidance and following the traditional path of one-to-one consultations. But she said that something always felt a bit off. She vividly recalls her early private clinic sessions where a client handed her £40 in cash for an appointment. And at the time, she said it felt surreal. People were paying her directly for her expertise. But when she ran the numbers, reality hit. After covering the clinic rent and the expenses, there wasn't very much left over for her. So she quickly realized that something had to change. Kirsten started working with business coaches and quickly realized the power of niching down. So while she'd always been interested in gut health, it wasn't until she branded herself as the IBS dietitian that things started to fall into place. Then came COVID, and with it, a major shift. Her business went fully online, offering a completely new level of flexibility and accessibility for her clients. And then came the email that changed absolutely everything. Bloomsbury Publishing reached out. They wanted her to write a book on IBS. At first, she was overwhelmed. Me, an author? But within 4 hours of submitting her proposal, they responded with a resounding yes. Now, the process of writing Take Control of Your IBS challenged her to think quite differently. Unlike client sessions where she focused on getting people results as quickly as possible, the book required much deeper storytelling and detailed science, something IBS sufferers need. And the response has been phenomenal, not only leading to lots of book sales, but actually bringing in more clients to her clinic and increasing her visibility and putting her up there as a trusted expert. I think Kirsten's story is a testament to the power of niching down, of taking strategic risks and building a brand that positions you as the go-to expert. And today her business is thriving. Her clinic is fully booked. She has employees and she is shaping the conversation around IBS management on a global scale. I want you to give episode 13 a listen because it's a truly inspirational story. Another really inspirational interview was with my friend Nick Ludlam-Rain. It's episode number 14 called Earning as an Influencer. So Nick takes us back to 2012. Dietitians weren't really on social media at that point. Nobody in the UK was blogging about nutrition, and misinformation was everywhere. Nick's always been driven. She's always been ahead of the curve when it came to serving the public, always seeking new ways to educate people about food and nutrition. But the lack of credible voices online really frustrated with her. She was inspired by the beauty bloggers and she decided to start her own blog. And she was determined to provide evidence-based advice in a world full of nutrition myths and nonsense. So at first, she said it was a bit of a passion project, and then something shifted for her. Brands started noticing. She was offered collaborations. She was offered media opportunities and paid partnerships. And by 2013, just a year after launching her blog, her freelance income had surpassed her NHS salary. But despite all of that success, she continued to juggle both worlds, working in the NHS until 2023. But success in a non-traditional career path often comes with scrutiny. Nick vividly remembers the moment when she received an email from the BDA. They were removing her name from the Trusted Dietitian Directory, something that we used to have back in 2013. She was absolutely blindsided. How could sharing science-based nutrition advice be seen as an issue? Had she done something wrong? But instead of backing down, she fought back. She reached out directly to the HCPC, asking if her blog breached any regulations. And within 24 hours, they responded to say, "You haven't done anything wrong." And armed with that confirmation, she went back to the BDA. And weeks later, without any explanation, her name was reinstated on the Trusted Dietitian Directory. And then in 2020, history almost repeated itself. A tabloid journalist published an opinion piece attacking doctors and dietitians who worked with brands. This journalist didn't just write about them, she actually reported 3 dietitians, including Nick, to the HCPC. Nick goes on to tell us how terrifying this was, being worried that she might never be able to work as a dietitian again. But she'd done nothing wrong. The BDA assigned her a lawyer. Months later, the HCPC dismissed the case, confirming that she'd upheld professional standards the entire time. Now, despite these setbacks, Nick has kept going. She's built a business that blends clinical work, brand work, the media, and she now also has a best-selling book called How Not to Eat Ultra-Processed, allowing her to educate literally millions of people whilst maintaining a really nice, flexible work-life balance. I think her story is proof that you do not have to follow the traditional path to be successful. And I highly recommend listening to this one for another dose of inspiration. That's episode 14. Next up is my friend Ro Huntress. She's a dietitian too, and her story is all about establishing herself as one of the first professionals in fertility nutrition. Her episode is number 16, called Earning as an Authority Figure. So Ro began her career in the NHS, like many of us, in 2011, eager to make a difference. And while she really enjoyed her clinical work, she felt there was something more that she could offer. She had a creative energy and a curiosity about opportunities that were beyond the hospital setting. A couple of years later, she took her first steps into freelance work, experimenting with meal plans, private clinics, collaborations with NHS doctors. She had no clear strategy, just a real willingness to explore new opportunities. Then came a game-changing moment. She got a retainer contract with a brand. And with that steady income stream in place, she started looking beyond the NHS and realized that actually there were exciting career paths outside of the traditional clinical work. 3 years ago, she left employment entirely, securing a freelance role at a health tech firm while scaling her own business in parallel. But the defining moment in her journey came with the launch of Fertility Dietitian UK. So at first, Ro had a generalist dietitian Instagram account, but she recognized that in order to grow, she needed to niche. And around the same time, her friends started confiding in her, frustrated by the lack of science based nutrition advice for conception. She started searching for resources to refer them to and realized that there was a significant gap in evidence based fertility nutrition. So this became her focus. She spent years compiling research and building her expertise, which led to the launch of Fertility Dietitian UK in 2020. And that quickly grew into a real thriving business. She sells digital products like meal plans and e-guides and online courses. And she's also expanded her business by hiring a colleague to run an online fertility clinic offering one-to-one consultations for couples who are struggling to conceive. As the business grew, she realized that there was actually a new demand emerging. Healthcare professionals, dietitians, nutritionists, embryologists, midwives, fertility nurses, acupuncturists, they were all eager to learn more about fertility nutrition, but had few formal education options available to them. And so this led to the launch of the fertility nutrition course for healthcare professionals. Now, the course is completely self-paced and it's available to join at any time. It's designed to provide an in-depth education whilst allowing professionals to learn at their own speed. One of her biggest milestones came when she was invited to write the first ever fertility nutrition chapter in the Manual of Dietetic Practice. And this recognition helped cement fertility nutrition as an important part of dietetic education, bringing much needed attention to the role of nutrition in reproductive health. So today, well, Rose built a business that allows her to scale her impact far beyond what she could achieve in one-to-one clinical work. Her courses generate that lovely passive income while supporting professionals in integrating evidence-based fertility nutrition into their practices. And with ongoing developments in health tech and AI, she's also embracing new opportunities to push the boundaries of digital healthcare solutions. I think Rose's journey highlights the power of recognizing an unserved niche, building expertise, and positioning yourself as the go-to person in that field. She's not only built a business, but she's helped shape an entire new clinical area, showing what's possible when you combine clinical knowledge with entrepreneurial thinking. So if you're inspired by this and you love advances in tech or are considering an unserved niche, then Rose's story is worth a listen. That's episode 16. And then finally, I couldn't have this celebration episode without mentioning my lovely client, Rosie. I have loved working with Rosie. She's been on the podcast twice, actually, in episodes 21 and 47. And Rosie Martin is a vegan dietitian who wholeheartedly lives by her values. She's built a career that she's passionate about. She's working in the NHS in a very rare occupational health role and running her own private practice in plant-based and vegan nutrition. She loved helping clients, but there was a problem. Her business, like many freelance dietitians, relied on one-to-one consultations and supporting some very famous, actually, vegan brands. And the more clients she saw and the work that she did for other people, the more money she made, but at the cost of her time and her energy and, of course, her work-life balance. And she came to me when she'd reached a bit of a breaking point. Juggling NHS work, juggling her private practice, her consultancy, and her voluntary roles, she found herself just stretched a bit too thin. And although she is absolutely passionate about her work, she also knew that something had to change. She needed a business model that didn't require her to trade her time for money. And that's when she decided that she was going to create a hybrid online course. So at first, the idea was quite daunting. Would people actually buy it? Was there even a demand? And to test the waters, she did something really bold. She pre-sold her course before creating it. She offered 10 discounted spots to her email list and Instagram audience, explaining that they would get the lowest ever price in exchange for their feedback. And within 24 hours, every single spot was sold out. That was the sign that she needed. With proof of demand, Rosie then poured her energy into building a 12-week group coaching program, a structured weight management program tailored specifically for plant-based and vegan eaters. Now, this wasn't just a course, it was a full transformation experience designed to help people navigate the unique challenges of vegan nutrition whilst achieving sustainable weight loss and learning to love their bodies. So for the first year, she ran her program using a live launch model, meaning it was only available at set times of the year. And this worked really well, generated a consistent influx of clients and lots of lovely data for me that we could sit down and analyze and make evidence-based refinements. But it had one major drawback that live launching has for everyone. Launches are absolutely exhausting. And that's what Rosie wanted to get away from in the first place. It's the excitement. It's the marketing push. It's the really tight enrollment window. It is all consuming. So after launching in January, May, and September, she realized that although the program was successful and she no longer saw those one-to-one clients, she was still caught in that cycle of intensity and not a lot of downtime. She wanted something that would give her true freedom, a way to keep generating income without the stress of launching over and over and over again. And so she made another bold move. And this is what we talk about in that second podcast episode. She turned her course evergreen. With evergreen automation, people could now join her program at any time rather than waiting for a set launch date. But making this shift isn't as simple as just making the program available all year round on your website for people to stumble across and buy. There's a very specific sales process required in order to make it work. She had to completely restructure her sales process. The transition required a full tech build-out, integrating MailChimp, Deadline Funnel, Demio, Practice Better into a seamless automated system. And this allows for new leads to discover her course, attend an on-demand masterclass, receive a time-sensitive offer, and make a decision on whether to enroll or not, all without any manual intervention from her at all. Something that I guided Rosie through because I've got this set up in my own nutrition business, The Children's Nutritionist. And it's this that allows me to spend nearly all of my time in the business coaching side of the business. But now, instead of a high pressure, 3 times a year launch model, Rosie's program runs quietly in the background, consistently enrolling new members on autopilot. But she didn't just stop there. She recognized another problem or opportunity, let's say. So after completing the 12-week program, many of her clients wanted ongoing support. They didn't want to lose the progress they'd made, but they also didn't need to repeat the entire course. And so she created a low-cost alumni membership. This back-end membership allows past clients to stay engaged, to continue learning, and maintain their results without needing to restart the whole program. And with this membership in place, Rosie has increased the lifetime value of every single client, meaning she doesn't need to constantly find new leads to maintain a revenue stream. Instead, she's nurturing a loyal, long-term customer base that continues to invest in her expertise. And today, her business looks completely different to the one she started. She's got a highly profitable automated sales system that brings in new clients without any work from her. She has a sustainable membership model that generates recurring revenue, and she's got more freedom to work on her passion projects, focusing on her visibility and planning for the future, and no one-to-one clients. So if you're wondering how to scale your business without losing yourself in the process, Rosie's experience is absolutely one to be inspired from. I highly recommend a listen. So as a reminder, it's episodes 21 and 47. Okay, what's next for me? Looking ahead to year 2, I've got some exciting plans in the work. Now, it's year 2 of the podcast, but it's actually year 6 of this business. So here's what's next. Here's a few things that I'm exploring. So, the first thing is I'm expanding my business coaching with some new offers. I've got some bite sized digital products for quick wins in the pipeline. So, these will be low cost, high value digital offers, expecting to be priced somewhere between £27 and £97, depending on what they are. And they solve specific problems to healthcare professionals. So, the sorts of things I'm looking at are plug and play email templates, lead magnet creation mini courses, pricing confidence kits, automation blueprints, essentially all designed to help you streamline your business faster. And these will allow you to get results without needing to invest in full coaching straight away. I'm also going to be introducing VIP strategy days, really aimed at fast track success. So these will probably be priced somewhere around £3,000 to £4,000. I haven't quite worked it out yet, but my business coach does these and I go on them and they are totally amazing. They're perfect for those who want intensive one-to-one coaching to build or even scale their businesses in a single day. These sessions will be designed to help you launch a group program, refine your pricing, or implement automation in order to free up your time. So if you're looking for fast, focused results, these are going to be perfect for you. The second thing that I'm going to be working on is expanding beyond dietitians and supporting more healthcare professionals. So, over the span of the last 5 to 6 years or so, I've primarily worked with dietitians, with a couple of physios and a psychologist sprinkled into the mix. But I know that many other regulated healthcare professionals, including doctors, OTs, speech therapists, nurses, and others, they all face the same challenges that we do when it comes to building a sustainable business because we are regulated. So, moving forward, I'm going to be expanding my coaching, my digital products, and my content to serve a wider audience of healthcare professionals who want to transition beyond that traditional employment and create profitable, scalable businesses. So you can expect to see guest experts from across the healthcare sector and interviews with other experts in business. I've actually made loads of brilliant contacts over the years, and I'm sure some of my colleagues would love to come and talk to you on the podcast. And then finally, I want to hear from you because this podcast has always been about serving you. So I would love to know what you want to hear more of. Are there specific business struggles that you're facing? Who shall I interview next? Drop me a message on Instagram or send me an email because I want this podcast to continue to evolve in a way that best works for you. So there you have it. And wow, what a year it has been. In this episode, we've looked back at some of the most powerful conversations. We've reflected on the biggest business building insights, and we've celebrated the incredible stories of some of my guests and clients who've taken bold steps towards financial freedom and business success. I've also given you a bit of a sneak peek into what's coming up in the next 12 months or so, from those new coaching offers and bite-sized problem-solving products to expanding our audience to even more healthcare professionals and those VIP strategy days. And to celebrate, I've invited you to my free 3-day event, the Freedom Formula, that's happening in May, where I'll be breaking down the exact steps you need to follow to create a business that gives you more income and impact and ultimately freedom. So you can grab your spot today. The link will be in the show notes, but it's saraharmonbushell.com/freedom-formula. Now, before you go, you know I always end my episodes with an action step. Well, today, I'd love for you to head over to Beyond the Clinic on YouTube and watch one of my top 5 recommended episodes. So whether it's learning how to turn your expertise into an online course, or how to make money from digital products, or how to market your business without social media, these episodes are packed with actionable strategies you don't want to miss. You can find them all on my YouTube channel. Just search Beyond the Clinic and it'll pop up. And while you're there, hit subscribe so that you never miss a new episode release. I'll pop the link in the show notes below for you too. So, all that leaves me to say now is thank you so much for being part of this journey. And I honestly can't wait to see what the next 12 months bring. Bye for now.